Okay, let's talk about Geoffrey Chaucer. Okay, let's check this guy out. I have Googled him so you could see a nice little portrait. Look at him in all of his glory. Oh my gosh, look how cool he looks. Isn't that great? So he's most noted for the Canterbury Tales, which is what we'll be reading. And we also, I just wanted to show you, these are his illuminated manuscripts. So they would write out poetry or mostly poetry, things of that nature, and it would be illustrated like you can see here. So that's kind of what form we got the Canterbury Tales in. Um, the printing press really wasn't in popularity until later in the 15th century, and so mid 1400s to excuse me to 1500s. It's where it was like more popularized. So what we get from Geoffrey Chaucer is more manuscripts, and that might be one of the reasons why it's incomplete. Why we can't have the full it in its entirety. Okay, so he was born between 1340 and 1345. Okay, which is quite notable because he survives the bubonic plague. So thankfully, we have he survived that because, as you should know by now, the bubonic plague wiped out a third of Europe. So fortunately, it wasn't him. And then this guy he actually also just happens to be captured by the French during the Brittany expedition of 1359. So he's kidnapped. Okay, then we still get him back because the king pays his ransom. So thank you so much, King. I believe it was Edward the Third. He saves his life. So we have the Canterbury Tales because Chaucer just goes through all of these hoops. He performs unbelievable feats. So we have these wonderful pieces of literature. Okay, so unlike Shakespeare, and I think this is so interesting, but unlike Shakespeare, where we really don't know a lot about his life, because Shakespeare was just kind of like a normal guy, a playwright, an actor. Unlike Shakespeare, Chaucer served extensively in government positions. He was a civil servant, and it's just all recorded. So that's also great because we have a record of his life because he served in all of these different positions. So he first, in his younger years, he served as a page, and then when he was kidnapped, it was a lot of use because he like served on these diplomat like missions in France. So, I guess there wasn't really any hard feelings there. In 1366, he marries Philippa Roet, and he has approximately 3 to 4 kids. Like I said, he has all these like different positions. He's a comptroller of London Customs. That's fancy. Oh my gosh, he's a member of Parliament. Oh my gosh, he's a Justice of Peace. He oversees all of these like royal building projects. He's just like a all around, kind of Renaissance man. Because he also, while he's doing all of this, he also serves as a professional writer or poet, and he makes money off of his work, which is also extremely rare. So he kind of was like, yeah, like a jack of all trades. Um, so then in 1387, Chaucer starts writing the Canterbury Tales. Okay, so he's most known for the Canterbury Tales. He does write the Book of Duchess, which is an elegy for John of Gaunt's late wife. It's kind of one of his bros. An elegy, like Beowulf was an elegy for Beowulf, right? Mourning Beowulf's death. This Book of Duchess is mourning this John of Gaunt's wife. Okay, so he goes off the historical record, around 1400. So he lives to know kind of a longer life. for a man of that time, person of that time. Um, Even though he was in the midst of writing Canterbury Tales, or so we assume, we're not sure why it's incomplete, but it is not a complete story. There should have been over 100 stories, and I think there's, I think only like 30 to 40. Um, so yeah, we think that he dies around 1400, and then he's buried in Westminster Abbey with all the other famouses of that time. And there you go, it's Chaucer 101.